Hey, what's up? What's up? Joan Vegas here. Another review, the big stadium tour. Normally, I got into this review business to kind of help people. If I saw a show before they did, they can kind of get an idea of if I thought it was worth it to spend the money. Tickets are expensive, parking's expensive, drinks are fucking expensive, really expensive. Food's expensive, so I get it if people want to, have doubts about spending 500 or $1,000 on a night. But this was the last date of the U.S. Majorly hyped stadium tour. I don't need to get into the details of the pump up and Vince not being ready and COVID. It felt like it was kind of cursed, but they did it. They pulled it out. Vegas was the last stop. It's a mega show. It's a lot. I go to a lot of shows. I feel like I'm an Olympic champion who's been training for a moment like this for a long time. It's four, I don't want to say headliners, but just about. I mean, it's Joan Jett, Poison, Def Leppard, and Motley Crue. Any one of them can easily have their own headline show. They decided to pack it in. I mean, pack it in. So I'm just going to jump into it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to rate each band on their own and then do an overall rating for everybody. So starting with Joan Jett, I love Joan Jett. She is an icon. She is a what's the word? Icon. That's the right word. She comes from that CBGB tough, she was doing it before women were doing it. And she's got such a unique style and her voice and the way she looks and the way she sings and the way she sounds. She was part of the legendary Runaways and then had her probably more success on her own. Like I said, she comes from that old CBGB, and you hear her talk, and it's like, yeah, I fucked Marky Ramone in a toilet stall at CBGB's. It's like she has her own thing to her, but it doesn't take anything away from who she is. Do I think she fits that 80s metal thing? No, I know she was big at the time, but to me, it would have been better, I guess, to have like a Tesla or a Rat or someone like that, Faster Pussycat, do that first kind of opening. But they chose her for a reason. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe they share managers, but she was good, man. She's good. She's I'll go through the set list. Victim Circumstance, Cherry Bomb, The Runaways' big hit. Oh Woe Was Me, Do You Want to Touch Me, a Gary Glitter cover. You Drive Me Wild, another Runaways. Fake Friends, Everyday People, Sly and the Family Stones. Crimson and Clover, Tommy Jane's cover. I Hate Myself for Loving You, one of her big hits. I'm Gonna Run Away, I Love Rock and Roll, and Bad Reputation. All great songs. She did a great job. The problem is, it just, because there's so many bands, this show started really early. Doors opened at 4. We hit some traffic going in. I think we got in right before 5, and she was already a couple songs in. So, good show. I would give her a solid 7, 9 out of 10. It wasn't unbelievable. It wasn't anything amazing. It was also fucking 5 in the afternoon. I mean, you weren't ready yet for something like that. So, it was light outside. It was coming through the stadium. You felt like you were seeing her in the afternoon. I don't know if that's like a festival vibe they were going for, but it's not easy to get to a show doors open at 4. People had to leave work early, and there's a lot of rush. So I don't think you needed Joan Jett on the tour. I don't think you needed that extra band. I know they were trying to give people as much bang for their buck as they can because tickets were expensive, but I don't really think you needed her. I don't. I think Poison, Def Leppard, Motley Crue on their own was pretty hefty, pretty substantial. So great job. I was happy I got to see her. I've seen her before. It's great to see any icon. I just don't think they needed her. But 7, 9 out of 10 I think is a fair score for her. Then Poison came out, and I've seen them a bunch of times. My take on Poison is I feel Bret Michaels is such a great showman. He gives, every time I've seen them, I don't know if it's a personal thing for him that he feels that he has to. Poison is one of those bands that just get a shitty reputation. They just get shit on. Like this cheesy, makeup wearing, poppy, there's no substance to the music. I feel like Bret gets out there and shows you every time, we're fucking Poison. We're actually a really good band, and he's really successful at it because their set list is nothing but hits. They had a lot of hits, and they're great songs, and they didn't even get to all their hits. Going through their set list, Look What the Cat Dragged In, Ride the Wind, which I think is my favorite Poison song. You Talk Dirty to Me, great. Mama Don't Dance, great. CC did a guitar solo. CC's a hell of a guitarist. Fallen Angel, I mean, anybody who grew up in that era, that fucking video was, oh god, that was just one of those great '80s metal videos with that gorgeous girl. And Unskinny Bop also, they did a drum solo. Every Rose Has Its Thorn, which is of course their biggest hit, their song compared to all the hair metal, that they have. That song is just a deep, substantial ballad. Probably one of the greatest rock ballads from that era, for sure. Nothing But a Good Time they close it out with, which is a signature song by Poison. That's them. Nothing But a Good Time. Bret Michaels is incredible. He works the crowd. He talks to the crowd. He's upbeat. The music is fun. It's fun. It's fun. That's what that era was about. They know who they are, and they play into it. They're not pretending to be anything else. And it's a great show. I would give Poison a 9.2 out of 10. I think every time I've seen them, they're just great. And they left out a lot of hits. They couldn't do them. Something to Believe In was a great song. I Won't Forget You. Oh, great song. They have a bunch of stuff that I can't think off the top of my head. But I loved it. I thought Poison was just fantastic and a great addition to this tour. And really, really put you in the mood. And they set you up for Def Leppard that came next. Def Leppard, wow. I've seen them a bunch of times. They do a lot of residencies in Vegas. I've met them. I have a friend that works with them. He's got me backstage a few times. The nicest fucking guys in the world. God, Def Leppard they're their own. I don't know anybody that sounds like them. They are, of all the bands I've ever seen, I would say they are the most polished. They are just so on point in how they move and how they sound, and they were built for stadiums. They were built for arenas. Those guitars, those guitar intros and solos, and that metal kind of electric sound that they have. It's kind of like it's rock, but it's got some synthesizers or something in it that makes it sounds almost futuristic. I don't know what it is. And they have so many hits, and they are so good, and they look good. Joe Elliott's finally starting to look old. His hair's gray, but he looks good, and he moves well, and all of them. And Viv is healthy, and Phil, and all. It's just, I really love Def Leppard. I'm gonna get into their set list. Take What You Want, Let It Go, and they get into Animal. Fuck, Foolin' is so good. Armageddon, it's great. Kick, Love Bites is just one of those time machine songs for me. The second I hear it, I think back to like fucking 1989 or whatever year it was, and summer camp, and the girl you had a crush on. I don't know, something about that song really, really just hits. Promises. They did the acoustic thing. They do it at all their shows usually, where they come to the middle stage and they do a couple songs acoustic. They did This Guitar and Two Steps Behind. Rocket. Oh, so good. And then I remember this from every Def Leppard show. I don't know if it's a personal thing for me. If it happens to you, leave comments because I'm curious. When they do Bring It On the Heartbreak, that is one of those songs that when you think Def Leppard, that usually comes like 8 songs, 7 songs in. And when they play it, for me, it cuts, man. It is such a moving song. It is such a powerful fucking song. And when you're hearing it live, and even I honestly think this is their best song, and you forget every time until you hear them play it live. Bringing On the Heartbreak is fucking crazy. Go listen to it when you're done with this, if you don't remember. You remember, it's just you don't, I don't know. Every time I hear it, when you're drunk and you're in that right mood, and it comes on the show, it is just so fucking good. I love that song. Switch, 625, and then they get into their I mean, when I say monster hits, these are as big as you get. Hysteria, oh god, what a song. Pour Some Sugar on Me, again, the probably number one stadium anthem, rock anthem, whatever you want to call it. It's up there with probably Don't Stop Believin', Pour Some Sugar on Me, Living on a Prayer. It's that caliber. It's top 5 when it goes on and you hear it. Sounds better in a stadium. I don't like stadium shows, the music, but when Pour Some Sugar on Me and those kinds of level songs come on in a stadium and 70,000 people are singing along to every word and happy, it's such a great feeling. It's awesome. It's as good as it gets. Rock of Ages, fantastic. And then they close out with Photograph, which is also so good. So, Def Leppard is fantastic. I'm going to give this a 9.7 out of 10. It is almost as good as it gets. I love them. I love their set. I'm just every time I see him, I become more and more of a Def Leppard fan. And this shit is 40 years old, 30, 40 years old. It's amazing to me how this stuff holds up, how they hold up. Nicest guys, great fucking music, great showmen, professionals. They give you exactly what you want, and thank you for. And they're not stopping. This Motley Crue looks like they're about to fucking drive off a cliff every time you see them. Def Leppard looks like they got 20 years left in them. So I'm looking forward to seeing more Def Leppard shows. I will always go run to see Def Leppard, and so should you. All right, there's a lot so far. I know this was a long night. We got there at 4, and the show didn't end till 11. That's a long freaking show. And what's cool is because there are so many headliners, it's just hits. I mean, there's 50, 40 hits in a row. That's kind of what this show was. I mean, it's special. I've never seen anything like that. Lastly, Motley Crue. I don't know if Motley Crue and Def Leppard swap, like who's closing, but Motley Crue closed for Las Vegas. You know, there was so much talk about Vince before this show. I mean, is he too out of shape? His voice sounds like shit. You know, little videos were released, which I think suck. I mean, I've taken a lot of videos of shows in my life, and I don't care what you say. There's something about a video that flattens the sound that's live. When you hear something live, it sounds good. You watch it back on video, it does not sound as good. There's something about the technology that kind of flattens it out. So, you know, I'm going in there thinking, oh boy, Vince is. But the truth is, once they started the tour, I think everybody just kind of accepted. Look, Vince was never a great singer. I mean, let's face it. Vince never had. He's not a Sebastian Bach. He's not a fucking anybody like that. He doesn't have chops. He doesn't. But he's a great showman. He lives the lifestyle. He is a pure rock and roller. He is the sex, drugs, rock and roll. He fucking drunk drove, killed his buddy. I mean, you've seen The Dirt. If you haven't seen The Dirt, you should watch it on Netflix. The Motley Crue story is one of the great rock and roll stories. And Vince was at he is legit. He's the real deal. He may not have the best voice in the world, but god damn it, they are some of the best rock songs of all time, and he fucking plays them perfectly. He does. He sings them perfectly. So I didn't go in there all fucking worried about what Vince is going to sound like, because he was always he always had that nasally voice, but it works, and it always worked, and that's why we love Motley Crue, and that's why all these years later, there's still 70,000 people showing up to see him. It's not for Vince's voice, that's for sure. So that never bothered me as much. He definitely sounded like shit. So with that said, there were a couple of songs where I was like, ooh, he was off. But I was expecting that going in. I didn't think he looked too fat. I met him 5-6 years ago. He looked kind of the same. He's got a little pop belly. He's had that for a long time, but he didn't seem out of breath. He ran around. Maybe it was the end of the tour, so he was doing better. I don't know how he was at the beginning, but for me and for my show at the end of the tour, I thought he was great. That's my fucking 2 cents on Vince Neil. Set list, Wild Side. Oof, I love Wild Side. Started with that. Right into fucking Shout at the Devil. Too Fast for Love. Don't Go Away Mad. You could see what they're doing. They were just jumping all over in their fucking catalog. Old, new, or newer. Not newer, but not new. You know what I mean. The older fucking crew, and then the popular fucking crew. And they were just giving you everything mixed into a big fucking punch bowl, and it was great. Don't Go Away Mad, Just Go Away. I love the ending to that song. Saints of Los Angeles, which is also one of their quote-unquote newer songs, which is alright, it's cool. Live Wire, Live Wire is so good. Looks that kill so good. They did The Dirt, which they did. I think they made that for the movie. It's a good song. It's actually a good song. Then they did a medley of like all their covers. So they did Rock and Roll Part 2, Smoking in the Boys Room, White Punks on Dope, Helter Skelter, and Anarchy in the UK. Also cool to see that. Then they all came out. Tommy came out at this point. They brought a piano to the middle stage. Tommy came out. And you know what? Each one of these fucking guys, and I'll give them credit, they each came out, other than Mick, because he's been dead since fucking 87. He's just propped up by strings and shit. But, Vince, Nikki, Tommy, they all had their moments where they kind of addressed the crowd on their own and thanked everybody for the years. And you could tell that they're very genuine about it. It's not bullshit. They love their fans. They can't believe they're still doing this. Nikki was fucking dead. These guys, they were just a mess. They were just so many times that the band almost folded. And the fact that they're still here playing to 70,000 people, it's an amazing thing to see. And I think they appreciate where they're at. They know where they're at, and they just can't believe it. And so they're very thankful. Tommy came out. He did his speech. I love Tommy. I've always loved Tommy. I don't know. I think he feels like he's trying too hard. I mean, the guy's got to be 60 and he's 50s or 60s. He's, still talking about getting drunk and wieners and show me your titties. And he looks kind of weird. He kind of looks like that fucking McAfee guy if you watch the documentary on Netflix. I love him. He's a wild soul, but at some point he's got to, kind of like Nicky. Nicky like matured and he's always been straight, but even Vince kind of matured. Tommy's still like trying to live those years, and I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. He's pulling his dick out. He mooned the crowd. He wrote, he announced he's starting an OnlyFans page. He was asking, he got a dude in the crowd to take his dick out, and they put it up on the thing. I don't need to fucking see that. Titties, I'm fine. No, I'm joking. But again, it's like he was having these women pull out their tits, which is fun. I get it, but I don't know. I feel like at some point you should probably maybe, act your age sounds terrible. That's not what I mean. I mean, just, there's a way to mature into that level. I can't tell if he's trying too hard or that's really the way he is. But anyway, so he came out, they brought out a piano, and he sat down and started the intro to Home Sweet Home. They all came to the center stage. Home Sweet Home, great song. Next came Dr. Feelgood, which always, I remember so clearly when that album came out, being a kid. It lived up to the hype. It was so cool. Feelgood's a great song. One thing I noticed, and it's probably just because of the magnitude of this tour and changing sets, every time I've seen Motley Crue, there were always pyrotechnics and fire. There was a lot of smoke, but there was no, especially for Feel Good, there was no fire, there was no fireworks. It kind of was a very subdued set. There was no crazy Tommy drum kit like there has been every single tour I've seen them, where he's spinning or up all the crowd. There was none of that. None. They really scaled it down. It's probably has to do with the set, the stage, but it's noticeable, especially for a song like Feel Good. That's always is just like awesome fucking fireworks and fire and that kind of shit. Same Old Situation, great song. Girls, 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 great. Primal Scream, I love that song. And then they close with Kickstart My Heart, which is just the perfect song to close with. Motley Crue, I would give him a 9.2 out of 10 just because I've seen them better in the past. The years have definitely taken their toll on them for sure. But, I mean, it's still an unbelievable sight. All of it together. This is the longest review I've ever done. This is the longest show I've ever done. I'm surprised if anybody's still listening to me at this point. It was an event. It really lived up to the hype. You got your money's worth. Concerts are really fucking expensive, and they gave you a full fucking... It's like, sometimes you order in a pizza and you just have a pizza and you're fine, and then sometimes you just said fuck it and you get pizza and salad and french fries and onion rings and you spread it all out on the counter and you're like, oh my god, this is a crazy meal. Excuse me. That's what this felt like. It felt like a smorgasbord. It was just non-stop. You got drunk, you sobered up, and you got drunk again. That's how much time there was in this thing. You had dinner, you had drunken snack. I mean, it was just this. It felt like you were at a festival, but it was fantastic. It was an endurance test, and it was fantastic, and it lived up to the hype. On a scale of 1 to 10 for the entire show, I would give it a 9.6 out of 10. It was an event. I have a feeling they're going to try and do this, given the success of this, where they can start mixing these big bands over and over again, and giving you this wonderful bill. Anyway, this review's getting long. Normally I say go see the show, but it's done. I don't think they'll come back around. I think they're all pretty surprised that they survived it without any major events. I felt like this was a once-in-a-lifetime. I felt like I'll remember this show for the rest of my life, and I don't know what else to ask for. I got to see some of my favorite bands that go back 30, 40 years, and I got to see them in one night, and it was a privilege, and it was a treat. So thank you to Joan Jett. Thank you to Poison, to Def Leppard, and to Motley Crue. That was an awesome night. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, I can't believe anybody made it this far. Have a good night, and I will see you at the next show. I'm going again tonight. Imagine Dragons and Macklemore. All right, bye-bye.